You're obviously coming into your 9th season now. Like, how do you kind of feel? You're enthused by the sort of youth of the group?
Yeah, I think that with a young group, it really does re-energise you to a certain extent. Clearly, the majority of our list is very young and they're impressionable.
Do you have to change your coaching style because of the youth that's now on the list?
I certainly will change the way I go about coaching, because when you've got a more experienced group, it's about the education process is largely done. It's about empowering them to drive the standards and really drive the way that we want to play and the way that we want to behave. But now with a younger group, it's getting back out on the factory floor and working with those young guys in a more direct rather than a managerial role.
Your core leaders that have been pretty much with you the whole way through, how much do you have to rely on them to help you teach?
When you've got an experienced group, their main function is to really lead by example. But now they need to get on the factory floor with me and start to coach and educate some of the young players as to how we want North Melbourne players to go about it. Some of the mid-range players too are excited, because as great as it is to have experienced players around, they do tend to take a bit of a back seat, whereas now those guys are right at the forefront.
So they're forced to sort of step up in a way, like there's no option because there's no one else above in a way.
Yeah, but they're also excited by the fact that they get to set the direction for the team. There's a real feeling with some of the guys who have been into their 3rd, 4th, 5th years that they get to shape the direction of the team more so than in previous years. There's a hell of a lot of the unknown, but there's a hell of a lot of confidence and optimism in what these young players can produce.
Obviously, with Richmond winning and the Bulldogs winning, a bit unexpected, let's be honest. Does it sort of change the outlook and the potential in the way that you approach what's going on here?
Yeah, I think what it does is provide a great deal of hope for everyone. The gap between the best and the rest is narrower than ever. I think that gives hope to all supporters and all stakeholders in their club that even if they seem a long way away, they're closer than you think.
When you're watching a drill like this, and again, got a lot of young guys out there, and there's a little bit of potential for some skill errors and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to yell at them when they stuff up?
The days of yelling at players when they make a mistake are largely gone. I mean, that we really get frustrated with errors that are made through sloppiness or laziness. But I mean, clearly players aren't trying to make errors. They're trying to do their best, and really, when we coach, we look to coach in this particular drill, more of a technical drill. So we're looking to work on the technical skill, but we're also looking to get it done at reasonable intensity. So you can't have the intensity and not some of the mistakes that might come with that intensity. While this is not a high pressure drill by any stretch of the imagination, it is a technical drill, and we want it done with close to match-like intensity. If we're going to make mistakes, let's be daring in the process and then refine the skill from there.
So how do you know then if you're seeing someone that's not going as hard as you want them to, and would you interject and say, come on, whoever, dig in or something? Or
no, it's a case-by-case basis, and this is where understanding your players is really important. There are some players who look a little more laconic and a little bit more laid back, and some players who look like they're going with maximum intensity and probably can put themselves under too much pressure at times. So it comes back to the individual and knowing these guys and how they go about it.
When does the head coach jump in? Whenever he wants.
Well, technically whenever I want. But my philosophy is that, we've got great resources at our disposal and we want to use those resources. And I certainly don't want assistant coaches who are there just to move cones around.
When you were doing drills like this, when you were playing, was like a Lee Matthews, or was he kind of just let it pan out, or was he sort of a bit more in your face, drop down and give me 20?
Lee was an unbelievable coach. I learned so much from him, but he had a great ability to know when to give the group a little prickle and when to let them do their thing.
Do coaches have pets? Players say that you've got your favourites.
Yeah, well, players would always think that the players in the 22 are the favourites. An old coach of mine once said, players largely pick the team. They pick the team through their performance on the track and out on game day. It's human nature that you gravitate to some guys more than others, but that's where you come back to the objective data and what the guys are actually producing. And I try to work really hard on judging players and what they do, and not getting too subjective in my opinion.
You love Joe Waite and the way he goes about it?
Yeah, well, he's an infectious bloke. He's got a really important role for us in 2018, coaching our our young key position players, and clearly we think he's got a lot he can provide on field, but just what he produces off field in terms of morale is really important. You can see the way he goes about the track. He's a great person to have in your club.
9th season, has it gone fast? Has it gone slow? Is it everything you expected it to be?
Oh look, I suppose I've never thought about it until you asked me that question just now, because we're always looking at the future. I mean, we're trying to every session, every drill we do, we're trying to live right in that moment, and beyond this, we're looking at what the future holds for us and planning for that. So we certainly learn from the past, but I don't spend much time, if any time, reflecting on my own personal past, because it's all about the future for us.